Hey guys, it's Lee Taylor. That's the Mazda CX-30, and this is a Right Lane review. The market is SUV crazy. Soft-roaders are the new hatchbacks, and plenty of options means you can have your cake and eat it too. Mazda already has the CX-3 and the CX-5, and this new CX-30 aims to put some more class into an already great lineup, and it's providing some serious competition. So I know there's a ton of mini soft-roaders out there that are basically just hatchbacks on stilts for the urban market. I mean, you have the Puma, which is based on the Fiesta, the CHR, which shares its platform with the Corolla, and the Kona, which shares its platform with the i30. And the CX-30, the Mazda, is basically just a Mazda 3. And did you know Mazda has one of the biggest motorsports pedigrees of them all? Everything from World Endurance Championship all the way down to grassroots motorsports. So you expect the Mazda to be the driver's car. And I think they've delivered. So what I mean by the driver's choice? Well, Mazda's been in the whole car game for eons, and they've been in the motorsports game nearly as long. And so that means that their cars are quite engaging to drive, and they spend a lot of time developing how they drive. And it doesn't mean this is a sports car, it just means it drives really, really well, and you can tell someone who gives a crap about driving helped design it. Mazdas feel a very distinct way, I dare say similar to the way BMWs and Porsches feel whenever you get into them. There's a very distinct feel in the steering, and the attitude of the car is very unique. And it doesn't mean they're crazy sports cars or super hypercars or anything, supercars or hypercars or whatever, but they just have a unique feel. And this car is no exception. It's a great daily, it's easy to park, it's easy to live with, it's quick in the hands, you can see out of it really well. It's a Mazda 3 on stilts, like I said, and it's just a good place to be. I do wish this car had front park sensors though, because it's got a little bit of a nose, and this particular model just doesn't have it, so I'm a little nervous about parking in parallel spots. But overall, it's a good machine. So in the dynamics department is where this little car really comes into its own, and Mazda does this through a couple of different things. One is a pretty aggressive tire for this, which is a Dunlop Sport Max, and then you also have the G Vector Control, or GVC Plus, which is Mazda speak for witchcraft on the front axle. Basically, they adjust the engine torque and add some brake here and there to make the car feel more nimble or more stable, depending on the scenario, and the car's actually pretty intuitive with it. On top of all those things, you get a really nice button-down suspension, steering that feels fantastic, a wheel that's a great place, and the car's actually really nice to drive, even if it's just to and from the shops. It's responsive, the little engine sings away. I mean, it's not that powerful. It's a 2-liter, 4-cylinder, 120-something kilowatts, 200 newton meters of torque, nothing crazy, but it's got some character to it, and it actually responds really, really well. The one thing that does let me down, though, is this gearbox. This gearbox is a 6-speed unit, and it just feels a bit aged. It's a little slow on occasion, and I want it to be a little bit better, particularly in a car like this whose engagement factor is so high. You know, we have other brands that do 7-speed dual clutches and 8-speed automatics, and there's a bit more responsive in that edge. So I reckon if Mazda could update the transmission with these Skyactiv engines, it would be an even better package, because this is a very good car to drive. How's the cockpit inside of this CX-30? Well, it's a really lovely place to be. You have these lovely supportive seats, a beautiful 3-spoke steering wheel directly in front of you, and it's leather wrapped, and it feels great in the hands. Great, easy to read dash. It's both digital and analog, the center one being the digital one, as well as a beautiful crisp heads-up display. Infotainment screen's a pretty decent size. I'm not a big fan of Mazda's infotainment unit. It's just a bit clunky at times, but you do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. As far as finishes are concerned, these are top-notch finishes. I mean, this is the one step up from the base model CX-30, and it feels fantastic. Everything is of quality, and you even have some great cubby spaces you can use for all sorts of things. It's great. So how's life in the back of the CX-30? Well, it's based on a Mazda 3, so it's pretty much the same as a Mazda 3. I mean, I have a decent amount of room. Knee room's a bit tight, but I'm also in my driving position and I have long legs. Headroom's fine, shoulder room's fine, seats are a little bit firm, but overall pretty good. I have some vents for aircon as well as an armrest and cup holders. So overall, fairly average, which is a good thing. So how's the boot on the CX-30? Well, it's not too bad. You do have a decent amount of space, which is probably a bit more than the CHR. There's no space on the load floor, however, because you do have a full-size spare, but the seats will fold down flat if you need to get some bigger items in. So what's the tops, bottoms, and final verdict on the 2021 Mazda CX-30? Well, on the bottom, not much really. It's a really good car. The transmission's not my favorite just because it feels old, particularly in this age of 7 and 8-speed gearboxes. Front visibility with this particular model, because it doesn't have park sensors, is a bit eh. And sport mode doesn't do much, but beyond that, it's pretty bloody brilliant. So what's on top for the CX-30? Well, this is an absolutely brilliant car. Materials are top notch, it drives fantastic, it's easy to maneuver in an urban environment, it's great to live with, and overall, just a fantastic package, and it's only 35 grand. So what's my final verdict on the Mazda CX-30? Well, Mazda has a fantastic history of making reliable, practical, and engaging daily drivers, and the CX-30 is no exception. So if you need a mini SUV and you want near perfection, check it out. He's digging for gold, girl. Find any? Oh, he didn't. He's sitting on the side of the street.